my son Quinn was my quarterback, sophomore football, and we just had a disastrous turnout of like 29 kids. That was the year that Plainfield East opened, and so half of his team went to East, and it just, we had like 5 good athletes, and we were just so thin, and we were bad. And I think we went 3-6, but it was still a great experience for those guys. If you could talk to Marquise and Quest and Quinn and Caleb Ivy and Caleb Donaldson, they would say sophomore year was maybe their most fun year. So even though we've not always been good in track, one year, 2013, we were 7th in the conference, but we won the Fresh Off Conference, and we celebrated like we just went berserk when we won the Fresh Off Conference, and that was by design. Anile Williams was a sophomore who would have won the varsity conference in the intermediates, and we ran him fresh off because, by God, we are going to win fresh off. Yeah. And I think we won by 1 point. So it's one of those deals where everything we do, from the records on the back of our T-shirts to our website, to our history, to our performances I took 15 minutes to record all the times tonight, for our 4x4 predictor. Everything we do is to make track and field better than maybe it really is. And you mentioned like other programs. I think I have some idea, but bad track programs have got to be just the worst thing in the world.
I would kind of want nothing to do with it, to be honest. No. I mean, I would stay far away. And I think knowing, this seems like the year it's like you have to coordinate your distance with your jumps, with your sprints, with your relays, with your hurdlers, and your throwers. Sometimes that doesn't all click, and it won't all the time. But if you can somehow get on the same page to maximize the team, that to me, I think, is very important. Is we cannot clash with certain aspects within the team itself. And that's not even talking about talent, because the talent is irrelevant at that point as long as everybody's on the same page. And it's a group effort. And that's what makes track great, is because, you'll see a lot of kids, they want to run the individual races and kind of just benefit themselves, but they don't realize, well, you can be a part of a relay team within the team. And there's a lot of withins in track. And that's why I think it's so great of a sport. And it's you versus your mind and your body.
Yep. And it's such a challenge to coach. I say, I'm a retired teacher now, and more than ever, I see that track is seriously a full-time job. I mean, like for 6 months a year, it's a full-time job. I'm like a CEO of a big company, and the organization of 18 very unique events, the organization of freshmen through seniors all being on the same team, which is really unique. Like if I was a head basketball coach, I'd be dealing with, the 12 best players in the school, and that's not too tough.
Right.
But there's just a lot of organizational things. I love what you said about culture being, the unsaid things, and people looking in. I think most people know that we have a great staff. They're personable. They put out really good athletes and all that kind of stuff. And maybe they think that we have no problems, and that's not true at all. I mean, we have, if you have 100 teenage boys, you're going to have 5 of them ineligible every week. Yep. You're going to have some, great athlete having kind of a sore leg, going to the trainer. The trainer says, no, he can't participate until he goes to some specialist, and the family has no money, and the kid's out for God knows how long. And maybe they also think that we all get along perfectly. And that's not what I want. If you remember what I say in staff meetings, don't bring me problems, bring me solutions. But you guys still bring me problems sometimes. And that keeps me honest. And as you know, I'm an inertia guy where everything's great and everything's going to be great tomorrow and everything's going to be great this weekend, blah blah blah. And sometimes I don't want to hear the problems we have, but I need to hear them, and I understand that, and so I think that as nice of people, I don't think Singleton brings me problems, but the other three coaches, if there's something wrong, I'll hear about it.
Yeah.
And I have to because we're all trying to make things as good as they can, and it's a real challenge. And I remember saying about Manuka when they went through, maybe they're still going through it, but they're going through just a series of year after year after year where they would win varsity meets by 50 points and the fresh soft side by 100. I mean, they were good in every event and all that. And I had coached long enough that I was not jealous of them. Well, not a whole lot. I mean, I think there's a little bit of, I wish we were good enough to beat them, that there's got to be in all of us. But I remember I wrote an article called Hail to the Victors, where I interviewed Nick Lundeen, and I talked about how hard it is to get to the mountaintop, but it's even harder to stay there. The air is thin and it's not easy to live on the mountaintop. And the fact that they had lived on a mountaintop for like 5 straight years, even though they had some bad luck at state meets, epic bad luck, what they accomplished during those years, just amazing. And success always looks easy from the outside looking in. But what people will tell you is that those successful years took a lot out of them. I mean, absolutely. It's a lot of work. And if you have a bad year, you're not playing high price poker.
Right.
You're playing nickel and dime poker. It's not so in a way, a bad year is kind of a relaxing year, talent wise. I mean, you still want to do all the things we do, write-ups and records and try to win freshman meets and things like that. But I think that that it's real easy to get jealous of good programs and think it's easy. And I don't think we would ever tell anybody that.
No, absolutely not.